Okay, I would like to go through the multiple choice questions of the heat and temperature topic. So as you know, the clinical thermometer is used to measure the human's body temperature. So if you refer to the earlier questions in the open-ended, the clinical thermometer actually has a range of 34 to 42 degrees Celsius. So answer is C. Okay, next. If the same amount of heat is applied to the following objects, which one will expand the least? Okay, this one you got to understand. Solid, liquid, gas. With the same amount of heat, gas will expand the most. So if you know that, then you eliminate oxygen because it's a gas. Secondly, liquid will expand more than solid. So water will be out. So you're only left with A and D. As you know, steel is a metal, right? Metal is a good conductor of heat. So steel will definitely expand more than salt. Salt is a poor conductor of heat. So in that case, answer is D. Okay, this question, they say, which of the following is not an application of heat? Means we do not use heat to cause this to be useful. Application means like it's useful for us. So actually the answer is D. Because you see the railway track, right, is subjected under the hot sun, they will expand. So the bending of rails due to thermal expansion is not an application, but it's an observation. Okay, but the rest are number A, B, C, they are useful. Riveting, we have seen the YouTube video, right? This one fixing the axle of wheel, I have not shown it to you. It's like they, in the horse carriage, right? The horse carriage, they may have a metal rim, outer rim, that is slightly bigger than the wooden claw. So they've hit the metal rim to fit in the wooden claw of the carriage. So answer is D. Okay, question 4 is a very good question. You try to answer question 4, everyone. I would like to see what's the answer for Q4. Because Q4, they can be used to test in section B. And this is a very common phenomenon, especially if your house, right, has this marble flooring and you don't wear socks. You step on a marble flooring, right, or stone floor, right, you feel that, hey, there's a cooling sensation. Okay. Especially it's good if you come back from a hot day, right? Okay. So you take note. This one I say, which is the most likely explanation? Okay, if you can understand this very well, it's actually D. It's not B. Okay. Okay, because you see, both the stone and the carpet, right, is in the room, right? The stone floor and the carpet. They must have the same room temperature. Okay, we are warm-blooded. Our body temperature about 37. So if you step on the stone floor, you feel this cooling sensation because the stone floor conducts the heat away faster than a carpet. So in other words, right, more heat energy flows from your foot to the stone floor from your foot than to the carpet because the carpet is a poorer conductor of heat. That's why they conduct the heat slower. Okay, so you take note of this. This is maybe you can put an asterisk here to indicate this is a very good question, maybe tested. Okay, number 5, which of the following describe how a thermostat works? And I've given you the hint here. The thermostat is used to regulate the temperature. Okay, to regulate. So if you answer it well, the answer should be C. Okay, a thermostat switches a circuit on and off when the desired temperature is reached. Means the temperature that you set. So for an oven, let's say you want to heat up the nuggets, right? You set to 200 degrees Celsius. To your room, you set the room temperature to 23 degrees Celsius for the air conditioning. Okay, next, number 6. I'll go through quickly. This one quite easy. When you put the water in the freezer, right? After that, the bottle cracked the next day. The reason because when water becomes ice, right, its volume increase. So it's C. Okay. The water expanded when it froze. Number 7, which of the following is true about some solids found at room temperature? Okay, the answer is some solid found at room temperature. Okay, you know most solid, right? They have melting point, right, above room temperature. Correct? Otherwise, it will melt. Okay, chocolate will melt, right? Chocolate. That's why you need to put in the fridge, right? Yeah. So 7 is A. Okay, this one I do not know. Some of you may play the table tennis or ping pong. Sometimes you accidentally step on it, it get dented. So how to recover the dented ping pong ball? You put it in hot water. You don't put it in Bunsen flame because some students put C. I told them if you put in Bunsen flame, the flame will melt the ball. Okay, so this one is you place the ping pong ball in boiling hot water. So normally what you can do is you put the ping pong ball in a bowl, right? Then you pour the boiling water over the ping pong ball, so that the heat from the boiling water will cause the air inside the ping pong ball to expand. By expanding, it will push the dent out. Okay, next one, number 9. This is a hint here. Gas expand the most in the 3 states of matter. So if you rank them, right, gas is the most, followed by liquid, then the least is solid. So you would be able to derive that the answer is D. Okay, D, yeah. So far, everyone okay? And follow. Okay, in our chat message there, you can contribute by typing your answer so I can see whether you can follow or not. So can you tell me what is your answer for Q10? Everyone, Q10. Q10 is an interesting question. Can you also put an asterisk here? Okay, put an asterisk here, Q10. So they say, which of the following will not undergo a change in state when heated to high temperature? That means, you know, there are 3 states of matter, right? Solid, liquid, gas. So which of these will not change state? That means you remain as its original state. So water is liquid, right? Candle is solid. Nitrogen gas is gas. Glass rod is solid. So if you understand the temperature heat graph, right? Temperature heat graph, when you heat solid, it will melt. When you heat liquid, it will boil, become gas, right? So you notice there's only one gas there, right? So the answer is very straightforward, it's C. Okay, so you continue heat nitrogen gas, it won't become a liquid. It will still become a gas. Okay, it's a heated gas. 11, which of the following occurs when water first reaches its boiling point? Okay, reaches its boiling point, you must understand it is boiling. So the temperature will stay at boiling. So it won't change. So it's either A or B. Okay. So answer is B. Yeah. Okay. Okay, just now Isabel, you asked me, right? So this one question here is for GEP student or for high ability student. So if you do not know how to do this one, it's okay. Because this word, the density, is actually a Sec 1 science topic. But I've given you the hint here and the formula. So to calculate density is the substance, right? You use its mass divided by its volume. Okay, divided by its volume. So can you see if you heat the metal, right, the volume will increase, right? Okay. Okay, you look at this formula. The volume is at the denominator. Mass is the numerator. So if the volume becomes bigger, if the denominator becomes bigger, right, it will cause the density to drop. Okay, so which of these in question 12, right? Which of these will cause the density to drop? Can you all try to answer this one? Question 12. So question 12, the density, because it's solid when it's heated, right? So you notice, okay, when heated become the volume expand, right? So can you see this one volume increase, this is also volume increase. Okay, but when you heat something, the mass remain the same, the mass doesn't change. So it's either A or B. Because you see, I told you the volume is a denominator, right? So when denominator increase, right, the number here will drop. So answer is A. Okay. So when you heat something, it increases in volume. So when you use the same mass divided by a bigger volume, it will cause the density to drop. Okay, next one. Okay, this one, you take note of this. Underline the word equal volume. Different liquids at room temperature. So in the beginning, the four liquids here has the same volume, but now they are put in this trough, this container, and it's hot water. So the hot water will cause the four liquids to gain heat and expand. So you notice this, right? Liquid R expand the most because it has the highest water level. Okay, so for this answer is B. Okay, the liquids increase their volume by different amounts for the same increase in temperature. Why same increase? Because it's heated in the same trough with the hot water. Okay, this one we have seen already, right? The clinical thermometer. Okay. So this one I told you earlier, the function of the constriction, right? So if you know the constriction, immediately you know the answer is B. Okay. The constriction near the bulb prevents the mercury from sliding back, so the temperature can be taken accurately. Okay, here I put one extra note here. Is for your information. This one, this phenomena is very unique for water. Okay, because when you cool water, right, you cool anything, as it loses heat, it will contract, correct? So actually water, when it reaches 4 degrees Celsius, right, it will reach its minimum volume. Okay, below 4 degrees, if you cool the water, it starts to expand again. That's why when you freeze water become ice, right, the volume increase. Because actually from 3.9 degrees and below, as water slowly become ice, its volume increases. Okay, its volume increases. So for this answer, the answer is A. Okay, when water is heated, or actually it gain heat from 0 to 4, its volume contract. The reverse, its volumes contract. Okay, next, I also put this one here. Okay, this one I explained a little bit. Okay, this object X, right, has a melting point of 150. That's means if you heat it, right, at 150 degrees Celsius, you start to melt. So if you continue to heat 151, 152 until 350, right? Okay, until 350, when you reach 350, it will start to boil, correct? Just like water, when it reaches 100, it starts to boil. So it becomes steam. So you remember when a liquid becomes a gas, right, at its boiling point, the volume increase a lot because liquid change to gas doesn't have a definite volume. So it occupies the surrounding space. So therefore, which of this following, right, will cause object X to have the lowest density? So you look at here, density is mass over volume. So if I want density to be lowest, right, that means the volume must be maximum. Okay, must be maximum. So at what temperature will this substance have a maximum volume? Definitely when you change it to a gas. Because 350 and 351 differs by 1 degrees, right? But because at 350 is some gas, some liquid. But at 351 it's become all gas. So answer is D. Okay, because at above the boiling point, all of this object X would be vaporized, turned into a gas, vaporized. Okay, some students ask me what is this word slack. Okay, when a wire in a telephone cable, right, if slack means it hang loosely. Okay, if it's not slack, means very tight. Okay, okay, you know, in countries, right, where they have winter, during winter everything will lose heat and contract. So if you hang the electrical wires or telephone wires too tight, when they install it, let's say during summer, you just install in this manner, very tight, right? So in winter, when the telephone cable or electrical wire needs to contract, it will snap, it will break, because no allowance given for contraction. So for such cases, you must install the wire with some slackness. Okay. So they say, why do they snap on very cold night? Is because the wires were not given enough slack when they were first installed. Okay, so answer is B. Okay, you must take this into the insulation requirement consideration. Therefore, this one is must give enough slack. Okay, next, this one happened in Singapore because Singapore is a equatorial country. If you observe pavements in Singapore, right? Usually it's not one whole slab. They like to grow like grass or something in between. Okay, because concrete, right? Concrete is can conduct heat and they will expand. So they leave this gap in between. So they say, what's the purpose of leaving small gap in between slabs of concrete or on sidewalk? Sidewalk means pavement. Okay, this is expansion contraction. So the answer is to allow expansion of the concrete. Okay, this can also be observed. If you see some of the, you go to MRT station, those above train one, above ground level. Okay, the MRT track also laid in between with a small gap to allow for expansion. Okay, next question. If you see this word bimetallic, it means two types of metal. So when you see bimetallic, the first impression is something to do with uneven expansion and contraction of two metals. Okay, so when you see that, definitely you will get the answer. Different rates of expansion of the two metals. Okay, take note because bi, so cannot be a metal, must be two different metals. Okay, so answer is D. Okay, this last question, I also want you to put an asterisk here to understand, because this can be modified to section B questions. So you notice this is the melting point. Melting point means when you reach this temperature, the substance here, right, will change from solid to liquid because melt. And then next is a boiling point. Okay, boiling point means when you reach this temperature, 907 for zinc, the liquid zinc will start to boil, means vaporize. So now they ask you which element is a liquid at 900 degrees Celsius. So you notice there are two elements, right? Their boiling point is very high, 907 and 2750. Okay, so at 900, right? Can you see zinc will have melted? Zinc will have melted, right? So this one is a liquid, right? Because it boils at 907. But for iron, it haven't melted because it's still in solid state because the melting point is above 900. So answer is A, zinc. Okay, so that concludes the 20 questions in a multiple choice of this paper here. So maybe you can take a look at those questions where you have made mistakes. And it's good to review those questions you made mistake so that you can learn from your mistakes. So once I pause the recording, I give you about 3 minutes to ask me any questions before we take a short break.